Welcome to the Pulse of Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is your one-stop shop for sports picks, politics and government chatter, and even some neighborhood restaurant reviews. Instead of going to 3 different channels, you can come here every week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. And we are here at the Yogi Bear Food Truck and Craft Beer Festival on the beautiful campus of Montclair State University. And we're excited to have back, and she's been missing for a number of weeks, and that's Miss Mai Rana. Mai,
Hi guys,
up?
I'm great. How you doing?
I am doing phenomenal. So good to see you again.
Yes.
Did you miss us?
I missed you guys, for
We
sure.
really did. Now, we're going to be trying out some of the awesome food trucks that are here. Are you ready to roll? Are you hungry?
I'm ready to eat.
She's
Let's
ready
go.
to eat, folks. Before Mai digs into the food trucks, we're here with Steve Solomon, who's a familiar face here now on the Pulse. He is the media relations manager for Yogi Bear Stadium. Steve, great to see you again.
Awesome to see you. Thank you for having us and coming back out.
Of course, we're really excited about this. So, it looks like there are a number of food trucks here and a number of craft beer options. What are those numbers today?
The numbers are absolutely mouthwatering. We're talking in the neighborhood of 25 plus food trucks and over 100 craft beers. So bring your appetite, bring your thirst. It's fall, the weather's beautiful. This is a perfect day to get some food, fun, and baseball.
So, Steve, just tell us some of your different type of events that might be coming up that your group is running, and anything else you want to add, and where they can find more information regarding this Yogi Bear Food Truck and Craft Beer Festival, or the New Jersey State Fair that comes up every June, or anything else that you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for first and foremost, go to yogiberrastadium.com. That's where you can find out about all of our different events that are not baseball oriented that are here. And let's not forget the New Jersey Jackals. We are at the home field of where the 2019 Can-Am League champions New Jersey Jackals play, and they had a remarkable season, upsetting the Sussex County Miners, who were absolutely the perennial favorite. So there's really an amazing assortment of events that are here all season long. And let's not also forget with the Yogi Berra Museum that today is also Yogi Berra Tribute Day, and admission to the Food Truck Festival also includes going to the museum. They have a wide variety of fun exhibits celebrating the life and legacy of Yogi Berra, easily one of the greatest catchers, if not perhaps the greatest catcher of all time. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And of course, to your point about State Fair Meadowlands, that will be taking place in June. We're in the final stages of ironing out those dates. We'll be announcing those before the end of the year. And, there's no rest. There's always eyeing what's next around here, and everything that we've been doing with State Fair has just been an incredible year for this season.
Phenomenal. Well, Steve Solomon, media relations manager at the Yogi Bear Stadium here in beautiful Montclair. And one thing that I just need to add for the audience here is how Yogi Bear and his family were just so open and generous to this community, and it's well deserved to have this stadium named after him and to have a museum right next to the stadium. So, Steve, thank you for joining us so much, and we look forward to the next one. I mean, you're becoming a regular here on the Pulse. So,
absolutely, thank you. And listen, we call this place the house that Yogi built for a good reason. So you hit the nail on the head.
Absolutely. Well, Steve Solomon, thank you again. Now let's go try some food with Mai. Here at our first food truck, and it's called the Star of the Sea Seafood Truck. And Mai, what did you get off the menu?
Right here I have their famous crab cake sandwich that they kind of, serve just the crab cake with the roll. You have your own little station here to put your condiments like lettuce, tomatoes. The guy himself, suggested for me to put a little bit of lettuce, tomato, and a little bit of spicy aioli. So we're about to just dig in.
Dig in, Mai,
Yeah.
dig in. One thing we want to know about the truck, and unfortunately the owners did not want to be interviewed on camera, but of course I did my research for the Pulse here. They are actually a wholesaler for close to 30 years in the state of New Jersey, and they provide all of the wholesale to Whole Foods markets. So everybody loves Whole Foods. Everybody loves to go shopping there because of the organic nature and the local nature. Get to your Whole Foods. Go to the deli counter, Star of the Sea Seafood, and get their crab cakes. And also, as you can see from this sign, they were ranked as the 2018 Seafood Truck of the Year. And don't be fooled, folks. They certainly have many seafood trucks in this state. Mai,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I like it. I think the patty is a lot of crab lumps. They definitely didn't skim out. The seasoning is really good. You can taste the veggies, and it's super creamy, so it didn't need a lot of sauce. So pretty good. I usually have crab cakes just plain, you know, as like an appetizer. Never had it in a sandwich, so it's definitely interesting.
So can you see why they were named Food Truck of the Year in 2018?
Definitely.
That is awesome, folks. Well, we're going to move on to our next truck because Mai is still hungry. This is only the tip of the iceberg here, folks. Why don't we move on?
Cool.
Here at the Texas Barbecue Smoke Stand at the New Jersey Food Truck and Craft Beer Festival with my man John. John might look familiar to you folks because when we were at the Arts and Music Festival a little earlier this year, we covered them with Daria, but Daria's trying a little bit of a different dish than Mai is trying today. Mai's got the ribs. We're gonna have Mai dig in though. She's got like 3 barbecue ribs. And while she's doing that, we're gonna ask a few questions to my man John. He said he's a little nervous, but don't worry, John, I'm here. I don't bite, buddy. So John, you certainly said that you would have a restaurant.
Yeah,
can you explain where that is?
Yeah. It is in Jefferson, New Jersey, and the Route 15 South. You know, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like 35 minutes over here. Yeah, it's so close over here. I mean, I'll be there tomorrow in Hoboken. Are you there tomorrow?
Oh, well, I might be there, John, because I might have to stop by for some barbecue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So talk to me about other festivals that you've gone to. We said that you went to the Arts and Music Festival, but literally probably from the months of like April to October, you're everywhere, correct?
Yeah, it is, yes. I got a lot of events on summerside, like second summertime. But, I mean, I got a lot of people who come with me, or like tomorrow, I don't think they're coming to Hoboken tomorrow, but I think my guy's going, like, yeah, like it's really fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Now, so Mai's got the ribs, which she is devouring them, and we'll get to her in a second. Is that
So
one of
good.
your more popular items? But or if it's not, what else is a big seller?
Yeah, I mean, how was it?
Oh, yeah, he wants to know, Mai. He just
I'm on
wants
to
to
my
know.
next one right now. So I'm loving every minute of this.
Yeah, I mean, the rib is like cooking like 10 hours overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, it is like I'm wrapping it this morning and pack it in the cooler. I mean, you know, you can see the grill right here.
Right.
You can grill the grill. You can put the barbecue sauce in the top. It's really good, man. I mean, it's my recommend.
Unbelievable. And then I believe when Daria tried it, she had either the brisket or the pulled pork. Are those big sellers as well?
It's a pork. The
pork.
Yeah, brisket pork. But I got a brisket sandwich there and that pork sandwich too.
Oh man!
Yeah.
All, if you want authentic barbecue, it's the Texas Smoke Barbecue to come to. All right, Mai, what's the verdict?
My mouth is full. I'm on my second rib, literally falling off the bones. Nice hint of smokiness. The barbecue sauce, there's a lot of TLC in there. You can tell that 10 hours is really evident.
Yeah.
And honestly, I should have ordered 6. Yeah, instead of 3.
Fall off the bone,
Yeah,
like you said.
delicious,
right?
delicious.
And the sauce is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Do you sell the sauce, or is it a secret recipe?
I can't talk.
There you go. There you go, folks. I like that. He wants to keep his job. You know, we might have an opening on a poll still. We'll see what happens.
Oh, you can see my boss is coming down.
Oh, all right. Wait,
Yeah.
the boss is coming. Well, we'll maybe get an interview with him as well a little later on. John, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
for the
welcome.
fabulous ribs, man. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you again.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure they're on Facebook and Instagram, and there's a website. There is a website. I see it right up there, Texas Smoke BBQ.
You have to give me the card.
And he's going to give me the card too. And Greg is getting your signed right now, so that's great. And he has your Jefferson, New Jersey address. Folks, we're just getting started here. Let's move on to the next one. Mai just tried some of the food trucks here. She only has the tip of the iceberg. You're not going to want to miss it when we come back from break, when she tries the rest of them here at the Yogi Bear Food Truck and Beer Craft Festival.
For 30 years, New York Waterway has been a trusted friend of the city of Hoboken by enhancing the everyday commute for thousands of city residents and by always answering the call during emergencies big and small. Now that reliability and comfort the ferries offer is in jeopardy. The Union Dry Dock facility is vital to the ferry's existence. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
All right, here with my man, Michael Dukowski from A Taste of Poland. Yes, we've done many, many food festivals on the Post, but I've never thought that we've had a Polish cuisine. So this is the first. Michael, how are you today?
Very good, very good. I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful day. We're ready to serve thousands of people.
That's what we like to hear. Mai, what do you got?
I got a kielbasa sandwich with some sauerkraut and the mustard on there that the girl at the counter said that is the perfect touch.
All right, that
Yeah.
sounds absolutely phenomenal. And Michael Dukowski is back working now, but we'll just ask him questions while he's doing his thing right here. So, Michael, you said that you don't have a brick and mortar store, right?
We just do festivals and events, and we travel all over this tri-state area.
Tri-state area. And is this your first time at the Yogi Bear Festival? or-
No, this is my 3rd year.
Well, 3rd year. Sounds absolutely phenomenal. And what would you say is your best seller here at the stand?
Pierogies and kielbasa and sauerkraut.
That sounds phenomenal. We'll have my. What do you think?
So good. I got the warning about the, hot at first bite, but it's honestly worth it. I got a little bit of mustard on there, and I can't wait to, make my way and eat the rest.
Perfect. Now, Michael, people want some of your cuisine. Where can they find you? Do you have a social media or a website?
Yeah, Taste of Poland NJ Facebook and www.tasteofpolandnj.com.
Well, excellent. Michael, thanks so much. The smoker looks absolutely phenomenal. We'll let you get back to work. We appreciate it, and Mai's going to finish.
Thank you very much.
So now we have reached the pinnacle of all desserts here at the Yogi Bear Food Truck and Beer Craft Festivals, and we are here at the Oreo Fix, which looks like a big Oreo cookie box container, and I'm sure it tastes even better. And Greg got some B-roll of that. But
Yeah.
we're going to have Mai try that because that looks absolutely phenomenal. And while she's doing that, we're here with the proprietors, and that's Michelle and Vince. Guys, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Great. Doing good.
Doing great. Great to hear. Great to hear. So
To be here.
we're glad to be here as well, and I'm sure Mai's going to be very glad after she takes that first bite. So, guys, how long have you had the truck? And maybe name some of the festivals that you guys have been to. I'm sure it's been plenty over the summer.
Well, I think it's been about a year and a half we've had it, and you want to name some of the shows?
Yeah, St. Joe's Italian Festival in Lodi and Vanson Park. Where else have we been? We've been all over Bergen County.
We've been here before.
In the spring.
Phenomenal. And now this is really, unique because you did take the Oreo name and turn it into a truck, but put your own twist to it. So what made you come up with this concept?
Well, we're trying to get into the food truck industry. We had a tent with food, and we really didn't know what we were going to specialize in, but a lot of our friends that had food trucks said that you need to really specialize in something. So we were like, what's our best seller? We did shrimp and raviolis and a bunch of other food, but it was the Oreos that we made. That was the original type, and we went off of that and we just brainstormed the menu and a truck design. We designed the trailer ourselves. We had it built somewhere, but we designed it to specs, and we designed the wrap. We had it done from our friend in Fairfield, Artistic Signs. Shout out to Anthony, Artistic Signs. And you guys got to go around the back and see the face he put on there.
Okay.
We're going to put a face on the front next year, but we should have had on the front this
Actually,
year.
a graduate of Johnson and Wales,
I actually have associates in pastry arts.
professional pastry chef.
And
Very nice.
before this, I was doing tile.
Well, certainly, anybody that's man enough to wear a hat like this in a food truck deserves all the success in the world. Mai,
Yeah.
what did you think?
Honestly, Oreo is my favorite cookie, so I had to stop here. It's pretty much 2 double stuffed Oreos in, tempura batter. It's not too much. It's actually not that sweet with the Hershey syrup as well as the caramel, but that whipped cream topping together in one bite literally is like the best thing ever. Like,
Boardwalk Oreos.
yeah, so good. Yeah, I'm a fried Oreo type of person. I've made it at home, but this beats it by 100. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am like,
Thank you.
I might have to dig in, folks. I'm wearing a white shirt, but I'm going to do it. I swear. So, Michelle, if anybody wants to come find you guys, I'm sure you do private events and so on and so forth. Do you have any type of social media, website, etc.?
Twitter, Instagram, we're on all of them.
And they just type in the Oreo Fix, correct? Phenomenal. Well,
That is
guys,
good.
Vince, Michelle, thank you for joining us. Mai, you're going to keep digging in, I'm sure.
You might not have it. You might have to order another one.
You know what? Greg,
Yeah.
let's move to the next truck. Quick, quick, Greg, quick. All right, we found one of my favorite desserts here at the Yogi Bear Food Truck and Craft Beer Festival, and we're here with my man Ron of House of Cupcakes. Mai, what flavor do you got there?
We got a strawberry shortcake cupcake here, super heavy. So I'm excited to see what's in this one.
Well, you'll dig in. Ron, though, you told me off camera that you have some brick and mortar stores in the state of New Jersey. Where are they
We
located?
started, the first one was in Princeton 11 years ago.
Wow, okay.
And then we have one in Clifton right here.
Perfect.
And then we also have one in East Brunswick.
Look at that. They're all over the place. So not only can you find them at these festivals, you can go to their brick and mortar stores. And how long have you been in the cupcake business? As we say?
11 years now, going on 12. So we've been doing this a while.
Absolutely phenomenal. And I noticed on your truck, you are the winner of the Cupcake Wars.
We were. We did that a few years back. We were on there a bunch of times. We won one time. And it's been phenomenal for us.
All right, that sounds so awesome. Now, Mai is just absolutely indulging. Mai, what do you think?
I think it's definitely worth, come and stop by here after you've filled yourself on all the barbecue and food and all that. But when you actually bite into the cupcake, there's like a really nice treat there of strawberry filling. Reminds me of like my birthday cake I used to have when I was little. But a lot of nostalgia coming out of this. It tastes like the perfect amount of strawberry. It's got the right amount of frosting, and I like the little sprinkle touch for some crunch in there. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah. Now you can see why they won the Cupcake Wars,
Yeah.
correct, Mai?
Very
So
good.
We bring 12 flavors on our trucks. We have 5 trucks now. We have 12 flavors on the trucks, and the stores have over 60 flavors.
Oh, my goodness.
Can't manage that many on the truck,
Wow.
and plus it takes people too long to make up their mind.
Yeah, you want to keep the lines
Problems
moving.
out.
Yeah, I totally understand. Totally understand. And is this your first time here at the Yogi Bear Food Truck?
It's not. We've been here before.
Excellent. It really is a nice event. It's our first
Beautiful here.
time.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. They do a phenomenal job running it. Well, Ron, where could, besides maybe going to your brick and mortar stores, is there any type of social media or website people
Yeah,
can go
we're on Facebook under House of Cupcakes. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Well, get there. They got 3 locations all over the state of New Jersey. You guys have no excuse. Mai, anything you want to leave with?
Honestly, my mouth is full. I'm ready to eat the rest of this cupcake. I got a lot left.
There you go. There you go. Well, Ron, thanks for joining us.
Have a great
We'll
day,
be back.
guys. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye. So it's always fun to have Mai Rana back on the show from MyGoodies.com. She was so full, she had to go home. Mai, we love you. We miss you. We hope to have you on more shows in the future. But now, as mentioned in our interview with Steve Solomon, right next to where they are hosting the New Jersey, or the Yogi Bear Stadium, I should say, Food Truck and Beer Craft Festival, is the Yogi Bear Museum here in beautiful Montclair, New Jersey, right next to the Yogi statue. We are going to go in. We're going to have an interview with the museum director. We're going to have an interview with some of Yogi's family members, including his son and his granddaughter. You are not going to want to miss that. We'll even show you what the exhibit is like. You're not going to want to miss it.
New York Waterway values the rich history of Hoboken's working waterfront and the modern-day importance of preserving green space. Plans for our Union Dry Dock facility will incorporate the best of both, with a state-of-the-art ferry maintenance facility and expanded public use of the waterfront, with a promenade, fishing pier, and kayak landing. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
So, as Steve Solomon said a little bit earlier on today when we were out at the ballpark sweating, because it's a beautiful day here, this is the lovely Eve Shanin. She is the executive director of the Yogi Bear Museum. Eve, how are you today?
I am thrilled to have everyone in the house. This is a great day for us every year.
So, Eve, I was just wondering if you could explain to the audience. You gave me a little bit of a private tour of some of the exhibits that you have going on now, some of the exhibits you've done in the past, and some of these other artifacts that you have here.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that the balancing act we're trying to do, certainly in the years since Yogi has passed, is to maintain the nostalgia and the values that he stood for, but also look forward to and be an institution that will attract a new generation of fans. So while we have beautiful artifacts from his life and his career, we also have a lot of contemporary technology that allows us to bring those artifacts to life. Among them we have a pitching station where kids, adults, people of all ages can measure how quickly they can throw and the accuracy of their pitch. It's called Pitch, the interactive baseball activity, and we're also using augmented reality and other kinds of technology to bring the artifacts to life.
That's absolutely phenomenal. And now we know when Yogi was around, God rest his soul, he certainly put his life and legacy into this museum. And hopefully a little later on we will have a family member on the pulse here interviewing. How much more involved as his family is now that Yogi is not around?
Well, there's never a day that any of us forget that their name is on the house. This is the house that Yogi built and Yogi's friends built. We have a very, very strong relationship with the family. They support all the work that we do as a nonprofit. Any proceeds, any donations to the museum support the education programs that we do here. And for Yogi, it really was always about kids. So, that's really a labor of love because we know we're doing it in his honor and in his memory.
That's absolutely phenomenal. Really, really is. Now, The museum is open. Can you give us your days and your hours?
$10 for adults. $5.
Very cheap.
Yes, exactly. $5 for kids. We're open Wednesdays through Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. We're also open for rentals. We have folks who come and use the museum for various purposes. Really, it's about connecting community around Yogi's legacy. So feel free to reach out to us. We always want to have people in the house.
And before we conclude here, would you say that really the Montclair community has almost inherited this as their own? I mean, Yogi put so much effort into, when he was, and his family, of course, into creating something that could talk about his legacy and things like that. How do you think the Montclair community has taken this and made it their own and made it really a landmark where people should come to?
Well, I mean, I can tell you not a day goes by in this position when I don't hear some wonderful story about a personal encounter with Yogi. That connection is very real. It's very heartfelt, and you can't invent that. You can't make that up. As the leader of an organization, to essentially inherit that connection to community is invaluable. So, Montclair, which was his home where he raised his family, will always have a very special connection to this museum. But we welcome Yankee fans, Mets fans, baseball fans, sports fans from everywhere. We don't want to be a hidden gem. We want everyone to come and enjoy this place.
And you absolutely shouldn't be a hidden gem. So I have to ask you Yogiisms. Give me two of your favorite right now. I'm going to put you on the spot here with Yogi standing behind us. Go ahead.
One of the ones I love is, if the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. To me, that's incentive to always do better. And the other one I love is, well, of course, it ain't over till it's over. Because even though Yogi's no longer with us, it really ain't over here at the Yogi Berra Museum.
I got to give you my favorite one. This is when he was out in St. Louis, correct? He basically says, nobody goes to that restaurant anymore because it's too crowded. So I was like, just an absolutely perfect. Now, really quickly, where can people find you, whether it's online, through social media, or so on and so forth?
You can find us at our website, which is www.yogiberramuseum.org. All the connection to all our social. We're active on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Find us, connect with us, and more than anything, come visit us. We'd love to see you.
Here with Lindsay Berra, obviously Yogi's granddaughter. Lindsay, how are you today?
I am just peachy. How are you? Thanks for coming.
Of course, of course. So today is, of course, a very, very popular day here at the museum because it is the food truck festival. And, one of the things that your grandfather wanted to leave was a legacy. What type of legacy do you think this gorgeous museum leaves with the community?
I think for one thing, it's a really cool place for fans to come to see all of his stuff, the rings and the MVP plaques. But more importantly than that, to us, is the learning center aspect of the museum. Grandpa only went to school through the 8th grade, and it was something I think that he deeply regretted his entire life, and he really beat the drum for education his whole life. He started a scholarship fund at Columbia in 1959, and then founded this place in 1998, and we teach character education programs to kids all year long about loyalty, treating people with respect, humility, perseverance, inclusion, diversity. We have a segment on immigration now, a segment on civil rights, taught through this Negro League exhibit that we have now. And I think that's the biggest legacy that this place leaves behind, and Grandpa's legacy of just treating people the way that you want to be treated, and then passing that on to the next generation of baseball fans and just general kids. You can come here if you're not a baseball fan too.
No, and that's phenomenal. And I really think that the way Yogi gave back to the Montclair community and the Essex County community and the New Jersey community as a whole, the community is kind of giving back to him as well. I mean, would you agree with that?
I mean, I certainly agree. Last year we had 800 people come through here on this particular day, and this year we will probably have more. We get a lot of people here. As much as Grandpa was active in this community, he wasn't one of those guys who had like a personal assistant who did stuff for him. He went and got his own dry cleaning. He, picked up his own mail, all that kind of stuff. So he was a very public person around here, and everybody we meet, if you're from this area, everyone has kind of their own Yogi story about how they met him and he touched them in some way, and that's a really cool thing to realize that someone you loved so much is so beloved by everybody else, and people got to see the way he really was in real life, that he was the same with us, with them, and got to kind of share a little piece of him with us.
And I have to ask you, give me your favorite of Grandpa's Yogiisms. What's your favorite one?
People always ask me this, and it changes with my mood.
So what type of mood are you in today?
I like the existential ones. If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be. The future ain't what it used to be. But my favorite funny one is when he and Mickey started being the pitchmen for Yoo-Hoo. There was a press conference, and this woman reporter raised her hand and said, "Excuse me, is that hyphenated, Yoo-Hoo?" And he said, "Lady, it ain't even carbonated." That's my favorite funny one. one. So
That's one of my favorites as well. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely. Folks, we'll be back with more interviews. Here with Larry Berra, obviously Yogi Berra's son. Larry, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. We have a pretty good crowd here.
I know. It's like I feel like the Dave Portnoy food pizza reviewer when he gets crowds on the streets of New York. So Larry, obviously this is an absolutely wonderful spectacle here. In your father's legacy. It just shows the love that your father had for this community and for baseball. What would you say it could be his lasting legacy by having this beautiful museum here?
Just that the people ended up adoring him. I think it was 1997 when people came to him and said, we'd like to build a museum in your honor at Montclair State. And the first thing he said was, I'm not dead yet. And he thought that you don't get museums until you die. And the people said, no, we just love you so much here. You've done so much for the community. My mother was very instrumental in that also, because my mother was involved in so many organizations that my father eventually got involved with, that you couldn't go anywhere here without people knowing who he was, or just wanted to say hi to him. And he was a regular guy.
That's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And it looks like the Montclair community, and obviously we have the food truck festival outside with the craft beer festival, but the Montclair community is so receptive to this as well. It's like they're home away from home. They're proud of it. It's a landmark for them. It's really a national institution that people probably come visit on their vacation times, would you say?
I would say there's some, because I already met people here from Tennessee today, Virginia Beach, Virginia, New York. They do come up, and this area is pretty... it's close to New York City, so a lot of people come up to visit family, friends, and do business, and they hear about the museum and they come and see it. But this day is pretty big because we're in conjunction with the Jackals, right, when they have the food truck thing, so we get a lot of overflow, a lot of draw, but it's helps get people into the museum. Once they see it, they spread the word, and the people here that run the museum do just an outstanding job.
And you're similar to me. We visited so many different baseball museums, and it's just so contemporary here. Right. Whether it's that iPad that turns black and white photos into color, right. You really just have something of everything, and I think that's what your father probably wanted, correct?
Yes, well, and plus, not just the sports part, he loved the learning part of it with the education, the programs that they bring in the students. I've done tours for high schools and grammar schools. They bring in the kids from different classes. I've given an AP calculus class, was here doing basketball trajectory, and I go, are you kidding? Calculus in here? And but that's the physics, the geometry of baseball, and then just sports writing. They have all these courses that people are very interested in, and they come by the thousands now. My favorite, I use It Ain't Over Till It's Over, because I still play competitive softball, and if we're losing a game, I keep using it.
Phenomenal. Well, Larry Berra, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for continuing the legacy. What an absolutely great day here at Montclair State University. We were on the field for food trucks with Myron. Good to see Mai again. We had wonderful interviews with Eve Shannon, who's the executive director of the Yogi Berra Museum, and of course Yogi's son and granddaughter. Folks, we promised you that we were going to have the third part of our eminent domain abuse town hall. If you go on our YouTube page by typing in the search bar, The Pulse with Peter B., you will see that third part coming up right now. For those watching on cable access at home, we look forward to next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.
For 30 years, New York Waterway has been a trusted friend of the city of Hoboken by enhancing the everyday commute for thousands of city residents and by always answering the call during emergencies big and small. Now that reliability and comfort the ferries offer is in jeopardy. The Union Dry Dock facility is vital to the ferry's existence. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is our third of a three-part segment, and we're actually going to extend this into next week with audience questions, so make sure you tune in next week as we'll receive questions from the audience. But back for their third segment is Josh Sotomayor Einstein, our political analyst every week here on the Pulse of Peter Lee. Natalia Iati, I'm getting better, I swear, a Jersey City community activist. And of course, Miriam Drake, a Hoboken community activist. Why don't we get to our next question? And again, we want to talk about eminent domain, and we want to cover it in a more broad standpoint, and I hope that you bring your communities, what your communities are facing, and what you're facing in your communities, into the questions that I ask. So, how have New Jersey cities and towns used eminent domain to help special interests and play favorites? Why don't we start with Josh?
So whether it's the case in Hoboken or Jersey City or elsewhere across the country, there's usually, when it's a want, not a need, there's usually a special interest. Sometimes it's a small group of citizens that have a preference for what land that they don't own and don't intend on buying is done to, or what's done with that land. And sometimes it's an outside developer who sees something that he likes, and no one ever taught him when he was a kid, don't take things that don't belong to you. So in both cases, you have the political scene involved, right? On the developer side, you have money. Who's donating to the politicians? If not, obviously there's citizens that are donating, but many of our politicians in Hudson County, New Jersey, in Hoboken, and in Jersey City, many of those donations come from developers. So that's already a problematic relationship, because you're going to give money, you're going to find different ways, legal and possibly otherwise, to funnel money to the politician that will then abuse eminent domain to give you someone else's property so that you can make more money, so that in the future you can find ways to funnel them money. So it's this incestuous relationship.
One of the most notorious examples in Jersey City of eminent domain, in 2004, one of our most prominent developers, Peter Mako, I think he's a former New Jersey mayor and a former attorney, and he's built a lot of property throughout Jersey City. For his development, our city seized a property from the Kerrigan family. And there was a judgment that imposed a substantial amount of money for Peter Mako to pay the Kerrigan family, which never ended up happening. So that was, and he ended up building a huge development in that place. Then in 2012, a gentleman named Ibrahim, he purchased a property on Ocean Avenue in the Greenville section of Jersey City, which he hoped would be a source of income for his family, first-generation immigrant, that only to discover also that his house has been a number of once condemned by the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency, and not only were they planning to seize his home, but also they wanted him to be responsible for, much like your situation, to pay remediation for whatever environmental issues that were present with his property before he bought it. And similarly, as it is in our case, they said, well, you should have known better before buying, even though there are no current mechanisms that allow potential home buyers to know whether or not their property is under potential eminent domain. Presently, our situation, Center Street block, our homes are almost entirely, basically any property on the 4 square blocks along Center Street are, quote unquote, to be acquired. Any property under 15,000 square feet is to be acquired. And that's been designated by the JCRA. And going back to what Josh had said about government agencies and how they are being used as enforcement agencies, we have agencies such as the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency that makes decisions about people's properties and whether or not they should be put at eminent domain. Then we have the planning board that votes whether or not that should be enforced. All the members of each of those agencies are appointed entirely by the mayor's administration. They are not elected offices. So what chance does a single homeowner, a single resident taxpayer have against such a machine?
The people that have been pushing to get rid of the ferries are a certain sector and class of people that live near the water. And they are well off, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they certainly aren't advertising a park to the people in the back of town, or uptown, back, or downtown. They're speaking only to a certain group. And what's interesting is the laws in the town are arranged to help facilitate what the politicians and the developers in the end want to do. What they did was after Union Dry Dock bought the property in November 2017, the land had been zoned for decades as industrial. Well, on the master plan, they decided to change that to open space. So this, of course, is part of the plan to use the eminent domain to say, well, we are going to take this land because it's for open space. But it was never open space before. They have taken land for the Southwest Park, which is a small area, and they put a taxi company out of business. They want to take some of the Academy bus land, which is in the southwest by eminent domain. And they're just abusing it, and they use the laws to hone in and get a certain population so that they're the ones that are in the press, that hear that, oh, all of Hoboken wants this park. Well, that's not true. A survey was done online, 2,000 maybe the max filled it out. About 1,000 something said, oh, I want a park. At the census, we're probably going to be at 60,000 people. What percentage is 1,500 out of 60,000? But then the politicians keep saying, oh, the majority of Hobokenites want this park. That's just rhetoric. That's just propaganda. There's been propaganda constantly with this particular eminent domain situation, and I am just every day floored at how the truth, which I'm always after, is twisted in so many ways. I am appalled that our politicians are thinking about their careers, their stepping stone to a higher office, and they're not thinking of the citizens that live here. They bring in developers that destroy neighborhoods. The developers don't live here, and they go away. That goes on and on and on. And in the long run, everyone will lose in this. If on next Wednesday, September 4th, the City Council already, I know, is going to vote, they're going to offer New York Waterway a piddly $13.1 million, and New York Waterway cannot accept it because they need that land to survive. And then the nightmare begins for everyone. Thank you.
Well, Mary, Natalia, and Josh, thank you so much for joining us for the third segments. And next week's folks, they will be taking audience questions from here at Our Lady of Grace, so you're not going to want to miss it.